Hello everyone. So finally we'll be looking for the chemical reactions of penicillin. We have discussed all these chemical reactions. It will be in a summary. Penicillin, when it undergoes an abrupt molecular rearrangement, when it is hydrolyzed with dilute acid like HCl, it gives penylic acid. This was a reaction where we could not conclude whether it is an oxazolone structure which should be given or a beta-lactam structure should be given. But finally, with the spectroscopic analysis, we came to a conclusion that penicillin actually is a beta-lactam structure. Penicillin, when it undergoes a reaction with NaOH, it will give a penicilloic acid, that is a dicarboxylic acid. There is a cleavage at a beta-lactam structure to give a dicarboxylic acid. The same penicillin, when it undergoes in presence of a penicillinase enzyme, again it is going to give a penicilloic acid. That is penicillinase enzyme, when it reacts on the penicillin, it gives a penicilloic acid. Penicillin, when it reacts with NaOH, previously when we have seen, we get a dicarboxylic acid, and when 1 mole of methanol reacts in the presence of acid, we get a methyl penicilloate. Coming to this penicilloic acid, a penicilloic acid, when heated mildly, that is when it undergoes a decarboxylation reaction, gives a penyloic acid. This carboxylic group is lost in the form of carbon dioxide, so that we get a penyloic acid. Penyloic acid upon further hydrolysis gives a penyloaldehyde and penicillin amine. Methyl penicilloate upon hydrolysis in the presence of mercury chloride gives a methyl phenaldate and a penicillin amine. We have seen penyloaldehyde, methyl phenaldate and penicillin amine, which are being used for the structure elucidation of penicillin. We have also seen that penyloaldehyde, we could establish its structure and we could actually synthesize the system. Penicillin amine, which is said to be a common amine for all the penicillin structures, and hence we could say that penicillin amine is a part of penicillin structure. Methyl phenaldate could also be used for the structure elucidation, and finally penicillin amine is present in your methyl penicilloate so that it confirms the structure of penicillin. So finally we can see that penicillin, when it undergoes abrupt molecular rearrangement, it gives penylic acid. Penicillin reacts with NaOH, and when penicillinase enzyme attacks on penicillin, it gives penicilloic acid, which is a dicarboxylic acid. This upon decarboxylation gives a penyloic acid, which upon further hydrolysis in the presence of mercury chloride gives penyloaldehyde and penicillin amine. Penicillin reacts with NaOH and it will give a penicilloic acid. This in the presence of methanol gives methyl penicilloate, which upon further hydrolysis gives methyl phenaldate and penicillin amine. So these are the final chemical reactions of penicillin. Finally, for any structure elucidation to get completed, we have to synthesize that particular system. So synthesis of penicillin 5. It starts with tertiary butyl 2-thalidomido malinoaldehyde, which is this particular structure. This reacts with D-penicillin amine. We have already seen how we synthesize a D-penicillin amine. This upon condensation and cyclization by removal of 1 molecule of methanol, lone pair of electrons attack onto this CH, and a further cyclization gives these two rings, that is thalidomido ester acid and a thiazolidine ring attached to each other. This thalidomido ester acid, when reacts with hydrazine hydride, there is a cleavage of this phthalic anhydride structure, and we get a salt of this amine. Salt of amine, that is NH3 plus and Cl minus. This happens in the presence of hydrazine hydride and HCl, which upon further reaction with phenoxyacetyl chloride in the presence of triethyl amine. Triethyl amine helps in releasing of this salt so that we get an NH2. Lone pair of electrons on NH2 attacks the carbonyl carbon of phenoxyacetyl chloride so that we get a substitution reaction. This substituted product, when it reacts in the presence of dry HCl gas, there is a cleavage of this protecting group, that is the tertiary butyl protecting group is cleaved, which happens at 0 degrees centigrade in the presence of pyridine. We get a free carboxylic acid. This upon equivalent KOH and cyclization with DCC will give me benzyl penicillin. So this will cyclize the system with a beta-lactam structure with the help of a DCC, so that we get a benzyl penicillin. Reviewing on the synthesis, when a tertiary butyl thalidomide melanoaldehyde reacts with D-penicillin amine, condensation and cyclization takes place so that two ring structures are attached with each other, that is thalidomide ester acid and a thiazolidine ring. This intermediate, when it reacts with hydrazine hydrate in the presence of HCl, there is a cleavage of this phthalic anhydride and there is a salt which gets formed. This salt is released by triethylamine and this reacts with phenoxyacetyl chloride. This upon the reaction will give a substitution reaction, which is again further reacting in the presence of dry HCl at 0 degree centigrade in the presence of a pyridine, so that this tertiary butyl group gets released and we get a carboxylic group, which upon equivalent KOH and cyclization with DCC gives a beta-lactam structure which yields benzyl penicillin. This, with all the discussion of penicillin amine, phenylaldehyde, thiazolidine structure, chemical reactions of penicillin and synthesis of penicillin 5, we come to the complete structural elucidation. We complete the structural elucidation of penicillin 5.